after going such a long time without seeing it, we've got the boiling Juvia, with their Sierra next chapter, and that's going to be pretty interesting given the fact that we haven't seen it in such a long time, and the power gap between how strong Juvia was back when we saw it during Phantom Lord versus now is pretty immense. And on top of that, Gray being there, Gray's going to be able to become much stronger in this fight because of his, obviously his emotional state right now will be heightened with Juvia, and there's the potential because of that we could get an increased form for Gray. I'm still really hoping for just a pushed version of his Demon Slayer form. I really want some higher end level because we don't even have an official name for that. The creeping black demonic power that goes over him. It's essentially the Devil Slayer, Demon Slayer equivalent to Dragon Force. I know people generally just call it Devil Force or Demon Force, whatever. Until we get an official name, that's obviously just what we're going to go with. But getting a progressed version of that, I think also will be a high possibility of this fight. Because I think that it's going to be required, or at least some form of plausible increase going up against Metro, because he himself doesn't seem like he's that strong in regards and comparing him to his overall strength, because clearly he is a summoner. His power is clearly based around summoning minions and sending them into attack. And as we know in the series, generally summoners aren't very physically powerful. They're more of they're way more stand back. They summon stuff and trying to be more tactical about it. The only summoner we know that is an exception is Lucy because of events of the story and the fact that she doesn't like the old summoner style. She fights in there and gets hurt and fights alongside her spirits, which because of the battles that she's been in, she's become pretty durable since. And on top of all these things, the fact that Juvia and Gray, similar to Sting and Rogue, just are very compatible to the point of Unison raids being very, very seemingly easy for them, because we know Unison raids are based around the bonds of the people that are using them and the synergy amongst their magic, the two of them or more, and from that, that's already on top going to be a really powerful thing. If we have, I'm wondering what exactly we would get, a Unison raid of current Juvia and Gray, but more not just ice and water. You have the Sierra and then Devil Slayer ice. I'm hoping their magic combines and we get something like a Demon Dry Ice or something kind of just by default of the way it's described. That it's just one of those extra cool variations that when you see it, you're like, huh, that's actually pretty badass. It doesn't have to be something crazy, but just a small addition to what exactly it is going to be, enough to make it a little bit more special to the readers. But I know Groovy fans are going to go crazy over this because obviously in the last chapter, Gray straight up said that Juvia was the thing that gives him the power to live. That being a huge deal to to a lot of readers, as well as clearly to Juvia, is really nice because anybody can look back at when Juvia and Gray first met, and she was an enemy to him, but not he hated her. It was more of the opposing guild during the battle with Fairy Tail and Phantom Lord, and then Gray was always kind of more creeped out by Juvia with how aggressive her affections were. And now seeing how far the relationship has come is really nice. I still think that's a really nice development. I think that I don't think anybody's got a problem with that. I think a lot of people are very pleased, very happy over this. So I think a lot of people are going to be really hyped to see where this goes in the next chapter. But Metro, I can see Metro either going down this next chapter in 58 of 100 Years Quest, and if he's lucky, he'll go down one chapter after that. If the next chapter ends with Gray getting a higher end devil form, and it's more about the next chapter is more about just turning the tables against Metro, which I think will be really really hype if so. And then maybe the chapter after that they beat him, because the next one is 58, and then Yeah, I think it would actually work because then you get 58 if it's like setting up a new form for Gray and maybe something for Juvia. Well, I guess Sierra Juvia is basically like borderline a new form because it hasn't really been used much, and it is really cool to see it again. But Gray getting a new form, if he gets it in 58 and then 59 they beat him, and they set up the fight for Gears and Jalal in chapter 60. Actually, I think it would work because then you could have like Gray get the form in 59 or something, and then you give something to Godjill, and then they beat him, in 58, and then they beat him in uh, 59, and then 60 you set up Gears and Jalal. I think that would actually work really well. And I mean, I think out of the 3 fights that we got, well, the 4, because obviously we're going to count like Natsu and Alderaan, but I think that the one that most fans are really hyped for is the one with Jalal, because we haven't really got a Jalal fight in a long time, like a real Jalal fight. Like, he didn't really have much of a fight with Nineheart. He kind of bodied Nineheart. He got bodied by August. And then before that, like, we got stuff with Crime Sorcery and whatnot. And before that, like, Jura and shit. Like, even if you just kind of go back to any real fight, I mean, way back when against Crime Sorcery, that was years ago, years and years. So I think Jalal definitely is the one that most people are hyped about. So that's going to be really cool to just see this all go down and what characters have done since then and what exactly they're going to be, developing to move forward. So we're going to get that. We'll probably find out more about like what's going on with the Godseed Alderaan. My guess is that the defeat of the other Godseeds weakens like his connection to the main Alderaan, like the actual one. And once the other ones are defeated, the Natsu will have the capability of actually beating the Godseed version, and then maybe it'll be just like straight like Alderaan up, and however that's gonna go down. I don't know. I know some people are talking about like defeating all the seeds, and then Alderaan will be like easy to beat. I don't think so. If Alderaan was that easy to take down, like to me, it would kind of like devalue like a lot of his hype, because we like Mercephobia, like we saw like Mercephobia lost pretty aggressively, but that was because Natsu and stuff with like his Dragon Force and like his Aetherius power, from at least seemingly his Aetherius power, and then obviously it being a boost from Ignia, a character who is on par with Alderaan. It just makes sense. Like, that's completely understandable of why exactly that power up was like, oh yeah, of course he was able to be that ridiculous if a character this like powerful was able to force Natsu to get a boost. So gonna be pretty good the next chapter. Got some hype stuff. We're coming up to, in my opinion, I think the bigger fight is gonna be Gears and Jalal. Juvia, Gray, and I'm still Juvia and Gray versus Metro, and I'm still hoping Godjill against Godjill will be a big factor against all the wood golems, because I do think Godjill definitely deserves an upgrade still. And we didn't get really anything of him in this last chapter. I think the most is we got like his back and like him going to go hit one of the wood golems, and that's relatively the only thing we got out of that. So gotta wait. Next chapter, we got 11 days until the next one, and so we just gotta be patient. And then we'll get to the next chapter and find out exactly how this goes down. And Unison Reign, I think, will really be, we'll really put the icing on the cake when it comes to like the Juvia and Gray stuff, just because I know people, it's a very popular ship in the series, and it's one of the ones that actually makes sense and is borderline canon. I mean, there's barely anything keeping them from being like straight canon. It's one of those ones that you can just kind of assume. I mean, it's obvious, but anyway. Other than that, though, comment below. Tell me your thoughts are about what's coming up. I'm still actually really hoping that before before Metro goes down, we get something kind of like what happened with Doom, where he just was kind of like spamming different attacks. Because if all he's got, is this big wood golem spam, I don't know, he's still like clearly powerful. But it'll make him less interesting if he's just got the one move. I'm hoping for maybe just like two other types of wood golem. Maybe he can combine a bunch of them, turn into like a giant wood Voltron or something. But anyway, other than that though, comment below, tell me your thoughts about this chapter, and I really appreciate you thumbs up the video. But for the like button, subscribe button, check out my other videos. But other than that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed. Thank you all for listening. Bye. Oh, yeah, the video is like exactly 10 minutes. Oh, a little over 10 minutes. Anyway.